Loibner-Waitkus.
Don't know about the future, that's anybody's guess. Ain't no good reason for getting all depressed. Fire up your pad and pencil, I give you a piece of my mind. In my opinion, nation, the sun is gonna surely shine. Stop all your fussing, slap on a smile. Come out and walk in the sun for a while. Don't fight the feeling, you know you wanna have a good time. And in my opinion, nation, the sun is gonna surely shine.
I'm Alan Loibner-Waitkus, and this is American Lit 1865 through present. And yes, you're correct. That was the theme song to Blossom, if you're old enough to remember, that started off the thing, which brings me to my first. I'm going to talk about your final essay in a second, but I am a devout anti-bonus point person. You know, the most often question I'm asked with my on-campus students is there anything I can do for bonus points? And my answer is always, this isn't high school. But that being said, for I think the first time in 20 years of doing this, I'm going to offer up some bonus points. I'm not sure how many, but here's what I've decided. Since I'm doing these videos, you know, I've been adding music, which of course is copyrighted, and then you get the ads, and it's a nightmare, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably take some of them down, but what I want is a theme song. Can be, and I'm not musically inclined, and I know the chances are very slim. Anybody out there can do that, but you know, if you're musically inclined and have the equipment and all of that, I don't need video. And the other thing to remember is I teach numerous classes, so you know, it could be a song, it could just be music, like some of them. So at the very end of this lecture, you know, just give up. You know, I'm not forcing you to watch this. I feel silly talking about it anyway, but I've given some examples of the audio, and then I'll put what show it is above it. And so some of you who are nostalgic and lived in the 70s, 80s, and 90s like I did, or well, 70s, I don't remember any TV, but they were in syndication, but will relate. So that's at the end, and you know, just you got my phone number if you're interested. Alright, so let's talk about the final essay, and this is one of the main reasons I'm really happy about having these being able to do these videos, is being able to explain these complicated things, because this would require 8 billion phone calls. Not that I mind if you call, and a lot of you I expect to anyway, but let's go through the details. I'll post it in a week or so. It's not due until December 4th, but we need to go over the details of all of this. So let's repeat that. It's due December 4th. Okay, your calendar shows it's due the week of finals, but you know, the last day of finals is the 10th, which is that week. My grades are due that Monday. I'd like to have it graded and back to you. You'll be shut out of the class probably at midnight on the 10th, and so that gives me time to grade and get my grades in, and you time to finish it, and then you can focus that finals week on actually taking the final for the class. So December 4th at 11:59 p.m. Okay, 1,200 words. So that's non-negotiable there. So 1,200 words. I don't do a page count. I do words because you know, I teach typography, and I know different fonts require a different number of pages. You can kind of estimate that, you know, 250 words is about a page. It's actually a little more than that, but whatever. So 1,200 words. Okay, as far as the other requirements, sources, you have to, and I'll get into topics in a second. Sources, you have to have one primary source, okay? And so what that means is a source that is the work that you're discussing, or works, okay? So those count. If you do 8 poems, you know, then that you'll list them separately, but you have to have one or more primary sources. That's a primary source. Secondary source is anything that's not a work of poetry, okay, or fiction or whatever that you're citing. It's not the work, it's what you're using to support what you're trying to say. Now, a lot of people assume that has to be critical essays written by, professional literary critics and professors and that kind of thing, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, one of the options I'll give you is not up yet, is or I've had students in the past who've diagnosed Blanche from A Streetcar Named Desire, which we hadn't read yet, with borderline personality disorder, and one of their sources or more was from psychiatrists explaining what the symptoms of that was and other things like that. Or you may use a biography on the author to help tie that in. It can be anything that's not the stories or story or poem or poems or play or plays that you're writing about. Okay, so 5 of those or more, at least 1 or more primary sources. So secondary, 5 or more; primary, 1 or more. Your essay needs to be in MLA style. Okay, and y'all know the rules on that. And there'll be more on that, and there's links on my website you can go to look at that. Now, topics. Here I want to talk. I don't like to tell you what to write on and give you sort of say write on this. What I've done is gone. There's a list on my website, and at the very end of this, there's a video kind of taking you through that. Some other things that relate to the website and maneuvering and what all's there and that kind of stuff. So be sure you stick around and watch that. There is a list on my website of suggested topics, and I'll keep adding to that as the semester goes on. You do not have to choose from these topics. You can come up with your own. You can choose from them and then alter it to fit what you want to do. The big thing that I ask, you really probably need to call me anyway so we can discuss these once we get closer between now and when it's due. You need to call me, you can call me tomorrow with an idea, I don't care. You can call me closer to the date and we can really discuss, and I can give you suggestions and that. And especially if you kind of vary from my list, then we definitely need to discuss it. The 2 things that I don't want. I don't want a book report. Okay, I don't want a biography. Now, you can argue that, for instance, I have students who argue that back to Streetcar Named Desire is autobiographical, but that's fine. But that's not telling me Tennessee Williams' whole life. It's tying it into the work and how the work ties in, which does bring me to that. It does need to be something that we've read this semester. It needs to be one of your primary sources. Now, if you want to get into, one of the sample questions is something to do with the role of nature in the works of Robert Frost. As long as you're talking about the Road Not Taken or Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, you could do 8 other, 10 other, quote, Frost poems. Quote those poems. You could. A lot of people like to write on Flannery O'Connor. That's fine, and you don't just have to write on Good Country People and The Life You Saved May Be Your Own, which are the 2 that we do in this class. You do need to bring those into it though somehow. Something that we've read this semester has to be. I don't want it on A Good Man Is Hard to Find, which we didn't read on, just on that, or on some Dickinson poem that you read on your own. You can do that, but it has to be included, something that we've read this semester. Finally, don't plagiarize. Every semester I have somebody who plagiarizes it, and it's safe assign, which is what your papers are run through when they're due, lets me know, okay? And so it'll show me that it's plagiarized immediately. It'll show me where it's from, and you're going to get a 0, and this is 40% of your grade. You can't pass the class with a 0. So don't plagiarize. I cannot stress that enough. That's why I'm kind of giving this to you. It's still September, so I'm giving this to you early so that you can get started and not worry and not screw that up and plagiarize at the last minute. So we're going to go into now the video. It's all screen captured, video of my computer screen of me taking you through the website and some other things to help you out there. And I guess that's it. If you have any questions, as always, call me. And if you want to hear some rockin' 80s theme songs or 90s and 70s, stick around till after the video on the computer. We're going to go open up the we're going to look at Loibner-Waitkus.com. Now, before I go there, I do want to say you are in no way required at any point to go to this website. I say that because we have to so I don't put anything on there that, you can certainly pass the class without ever leaving the shell. I say that because it has to be ADA compliant, American with Disabilities Act, which Blackboard is. My website isn't, but there's nothing on my website that would violate that. I'm not making you do things that couldn't be done on Blackboard, but the point is it's just a little easier for me to put stuff here and keep it there forever. So I could go to that tab, and I'm just going to type in, and I guess I'm old, I still type in www. Go to Loibner-Waitkus.com. Now, once you're there, a couple things I want us to look at. Again, this is your tab, and this is the only one that matters for y'all, unless I tell you otherwise. But the first thing I want to do is I've added this new tab, Final Essay. Now, eventually, and I just added that today, eventually this will, the first thing you'll see here is a button that you can click on that'll give you a PDF of the assignment form, but that'll be available on your on the WebCT shell. So once I've decided to put that up. So that's not really that important at this point. What is important are these suggested essay topics. And again, I have a note here that says you don't have to choose these. These are just ideas. And as you look at these, you can go through and kind of get these, again, they're ideas. You don't have to write it exactly why. A lot of people in my Comp 2 class are, really struggling because they don't want to, they want to add stuff, but it's not part of the question, or they want to drop part of the question. That's fine, okay? Let's see, there's a good example here. Let's kind of scroll down. What effect does Wharton create by writing the other two from Waythorn's perspective? Why did she choose to write it from his perspective? Why not Alice's? Again, you could, focus more on why not Alice's. You could focus on why didn't she write it from the other's perspectives? Why, if it's from Wharton's perspective, Waythorn's perspective, why is it not written, in the first person? So, you're really just using this as sort of a jumping board to get ideas. You don't have to use those exactly. Now I'm going to go back, and what's really more important here when it comes to your final essay is this helpful links section. And so I'm going to go down here. These are all just a bunch of links, and again I will add some other ones, but some of them relate to stuff we've read. Some of them most of them relate to research. So we have Pulaski Tech's library and all of their databases. What I've done is I've made tabs to the databases that really relate to y'all. Now, keep in mind, your sources can be anything. They don't have to be from databases. But this is an easy way to do it. Now, that one's down for some reason. So we're going to go to the Literary Reference Center Plus database. Sorry, same one again. Literary Reference Center. Resource Center, excuse me. And we're going to search. Let's do Winter Dreams. Okay, and so I'm just searching in Winter Dreams here now. You could more specifically search, your topic and see what it has to say. There are a lot of things. Critical essays on Winter Dreams here. You've got all that, and this is a good place to go to. Not only to find your sources, but also if you're struggling for ideas, you can kind of look and see, well, here, maybe I want to do it on the importance of Winter Dreams. How is that important to history or literature or whatever? That kind of thing. And so, again, you don't want to steal somebody else's ideas. You certainly don't want to plagiarize any of those because, I'll nail you on that. But it'll give you some ideas. Again, feminist reading, that's a great idea for a topic. What's the feminist perspective on that? So there's a whole lot of, stuff here you can go through. Winter Dreams is not that popular of a story, so there's not a whole lot, but this beats the heck out of going to just Googling something. Now, I do want to show you this, and I guess I'll probably do a link on this right after I get off of here. But one of the things, it's scholar.google.com, Google Scholar. What this does is I'm going to do Winter Dreams here again, and we're going to do symbolism, okay? And what this does is it only brings up academic articles that have been peer-reviewed. If you just Google something, first off, you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff trying to sell you papers, right? And then you're going to get a whole bunch of crap study guides. And so these are all, you can see, are all peer edited quality sources. Now, this doesn't guarantee they're going to be quality, but I mean, come on, Metafiction and the Ideology of Modernism and Fitzgerald's Winter Dreams. I'm not even sure what that means. Actually, I am, but you know, so you can really get some good stuff through here, and you know, access to it. Of course, this is one of those sites. Get access. I'm betting they want you to pay, but you know, you can find some good stuff on there. So, if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, wait, one more thing. Let's go back to the links. One last thing, helpful link. We are in the middle of, and I talked about this earlier, that transition from MLA 7 to 8, but EasyBib, this is a good place to generate. For years I fought using an online place. I've made students learn how to cite every single thing, and you know, people made fun of me for being old for doing that. But so what I'm going to do, we're under MLA 8 here. Let's do a book, and I'll show you kind of example, because what I want you to understand about EasyBib is that it's garbage in, garbage out. You need to manually enter it. If you just search for your source, it's going to be a freaking hot mess. And you do have to kind of understand MLA style, again, because they've got some questions here that really don't matter. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. But like I said, you know, 7 or 8, you can do either one. You know, I'm familiar with both, but let's say Kurt Vonnegut, okay? And so this is what I mean by Kurt Vonnegut, garbage in, garbage out, or with this website. They're asking you things here that aren't necessary anymore. And, you know, if you don't capitalize his name, you're going to get it uncapitalized on your citation, and you're going to get points marked off. So you need to enter things correctly. But we know it's Kurt, right, Vonnegut, okay? No suffix. He doesn't go by Junior anymore. He... we don't use his middle name. The source is Bluebeard. Okay, I've already searched that. You don't need the volume, the edition, or the series. Okay, that's not necessary to this at all. And here's where they really have kind of screwed up. They want the city and the state, and they're going to insert that, and we're still under MLA 8 here. That's no longer actually necessary, and so I'm just going to leave that blank too. The publisher is Dial. Okay, it's Dial Press, but remember, in MLA style, we don't use press or articles or incorporated or limited or whatever, any of the company, any of that stuff. And so we're just going to put Dial. Again, the city doesn't matter anymore, so I'm not filling that out. And this was the 2011 is the most recent date written on there, and create citation. And what that's going to do is, I mean, it's that simple. And yes, in MLA 8, it really has gotten this simple, which I think they're actually going to have to revisit, but that's a different story for a different day. Anyway, and then you can just cut and paste this. It has the option to cut and paste it. And so you can do that for your Works Cited page. Again, feel free to call me if you have any questions, and I'll tell you what to do on that. As far as that goes, that's pretty much all I can think of right now. Give it a look around, and I'll talk to you in the next video.
Well, we're moving on now to the side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on to the side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby, there ain't nothing wrong with that. We're moving on up to the side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the side. We finally got a piece of the pie. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never seems to be
the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along come two, they got nothing but the genes. They got different strokes it takes, different strokes it takes, different strokes to move the world. Different strokes it takes, different strokes it takes, different strokes to move the world. Everybody's got a special kind of story. Everybody finds a way to shine. It don't matter that you got not a lot. So what? They'll have theirs and you'll have yours and I'll have mine. And together we'll be fine. 'Cause it takes different strokes to move the world. Yes, it does. It takes different strokes to move the world.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls who went to the police academy. And they were each assigned very hazardous duties. But I took them away from all that, and now they work for me. My name is Charlie.
From Television City in Hollywood.
Good time. Anytime you need a payment. Good time. You need a friend. Good time. Anytime you're out from under. Not getting hassled, not getting hustled. Keeping your head above water. Making a way when you can. Temporary layoffs. Good times. Easy credit rip-offs. Good times. Scratching and surviving. Good times. Hanging in a job. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em? Good times.
Just a good old voice, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old voice, wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.